First of all, thank you for coming. My name is Dave Tomek. I'm with Walkaway. Do we have any Walkaways out there? I am co-hosting this event with Joshua Alvarado and Chrissy Bretz. We are trying to take things from table discussions to action. People want to know what to do. People are coming in from all over, and they want to find organizations. They want to know which candidates to get behind. And let's face it, not only is our country a mess, Illinois is a mess. You know, we had 80,000 people left Illinois last year. Not 80,000 came and 100 people. You know, it wasn't. We lost 80,000 people. The year before that, 57. I'm guessing at least 100, 120 this time around. They're leaving because of pensions, taxes, crime, job opportunity losses, all of the above. And so that's just one of the things I wanted to say. I contacted some people to come to this meeting to speak. Three had other things. They were either not wanting to drive in the rain, or somebody had another commitment. And so we have 5 speakers right now, and I'm real happy that all of them are here. And we're going to cover a bunch of different things. We're going to have some school board people that are talking to school boards. That's a big issue right now nationally. How many of you have been keeping track of what's going on in Virginia? Everybody? Can you believe? Well, Obama goes to Virginia and says, we don't have time to waste with these fake outrage or whatever it was. You know, this is how they're talking to people. And most likely these are people that probably, a lot of these women, you know, it's a liberal state. They probably voted for Biden and for Hillary Clinton and Obama, and this is how they're being treated. Our military is being treated like garbage. Our cops are being disrespected. We have teachers. My wife's a teacher, by the way, and she's going to be retiring a lot earlier than we thought because she does not want to. She wants to teach kids. She doesn't want to be part of this political ping pong game that's going on, especially here in Illinois. So there's a lot of things that we're going to cover, and what I want to do is I want to have the speakers come up. They're going to say what they want to say, and then afterwards, if anybody wants to come up and say something, or if there's, you know, we always do this with our walkaway meetups. This starts a discussion, and so, you know, we want everybody to know you can say something, and we're going to have question and answers if you want, and we're all going to walk away better and smarter, understanding what's going on, and you're going to know the leaders of different organizations or names of organizations and candidates of people who are trying to do things for you and for your children and for the future of this country. Because right now, we are in the middle of a crossroad. Right now, you know, a lot of people see what's happening, especially people who are immigrants. How many people do we have here who are immigrants who came from another country? Raise your hand.
I'm a child of it.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah, my dad came from communist-occupied Czechoslovakia. He escaped when he was 15 and a half.
Communism.
Let's go, Brandon.
Okay, right. And so I've heard all the stories. I know all this. The problem is we have large youth, people that are growing up. They don't understand what the flag stands for, what this country stands for, and frankly, a lot of them have forgotten who they are because they pay attention to the media, they pay attention to what the college professors are telling them. So they're really confused, and they're making these choices and decisions based on leftist narrative. So we need to be more visible. We need to be more vocal. We have to be more active, and you're starting to see that now. I'm in St. Charles. We had a school board member step down. That's because of an organization in St. Charles called D303 Move Forward. And in Geneva, they had this teacher. You probably saw videotapes of her all over social media. She resigned because Chrissy over here was bringing attention to that as well. So we are starting to organize. We're starting to grow. We're growing our army, I always like to say. And we're starting to be very visible and starting to get more vocal. And they're taking notice of this. And this is why the left is acting so aggressively towards people. They want to shut us down. They want to silence us. And we're not going to have it happen, are we?
No.
Good. So like I said, we have some great speakers here today. The first one I have, she's right here in Barrington, Marcia. Her name is Marcia McCleary. She's with Barrington 220 students.
Hello everyone. I'm so thrilled to be here and to talk with all of you about what's going on a little bit with the schools here. I grew up in Barrington. I have a blended family of 5 kids, so we run the spectrum of all the grades pretty much. We've been in the school area for a while. And funny, I feel very blessed because I feel like my career has led me to this point. It's kind of a little bit interesting if I tell you. So I worked at PricewaterhouseCoopers, smaller tech and pharma and vaccine companies over about 20 years. So, and I left the industry and started a new business about 2 years ago, which was very exciting. It was a passion project of mine. So I now have a lot of experience with pharma and vaccine development that I don't have a bias for. They're not paying me anymore and I'm not under any confidentiality. So that's been kind of interesting. So I'll talk about that a little bit, and you guys can ask me some questions if you want. I've spoken to the school board many times about this already. I'm one of the few. Past year of the pandemic, I and many others actually, and this was the site where, you know, so nicely they offered it up to us in need to reopen the schools and get that effort going. And I thought, while it took a long time, we were pretty successful getting the hybrid restarted in January, and that grew from there. We have a families forum group in Barrington, over 1,000 members who advocate for mask optional. And prior to the executive order this summer with Pritzker, we did get them to agree to unmask the middle and high schools. So now we had to pull that back, unfortunately. So we were making some really good progress, I thought, locally. It was very exciting. And at this point, we also connect with many other organizations in the state. Awake Illinois, Illinois Parents Union, Parents Choice March, Action PAC, We Stand for Students. So, and one of the big things you even may know about today is SB Senate Bill 1169. So we literally, yeah, you guys are probably alive, but we gotta take a second for that. Most of you know what it is. Okay, so I'm interested to hear what happens. The Healthcare Right of Conscience Act, they're trying to make changes to it so that you can no longer litigate against like vaccine mandates and other types of healthcare, and trying to make it so that we don't really have those choices to make religious exemptions and things like that. So basically, in less than 24 hours, 50,000 witness slips, which is a record for any bill in the state, were reached in the last 24 hours. And then they edited the bill to a date change, restarted. We had 17,000 witness slips again today in less than an hour. Amazing, everybody, amazing. And I speak for, like, we have a lot of leads of all these groups across the state, and we're so thankful that everybody is really participating and pushing on this, because a lot of the senators in that executive meeting today were speaking out about this amazing show of opposition. So that's huge. And the more we can do that, and quite frankly, I hate to say this, but embarrass the people that are doing this and ask them hard questions is really important. I mean, it is not the time to sit on your hands, guys. Our freedoms are at stake here. You have to speak out. Tell your friends. You have to speak out. This is a big deal. Okay, so that's something that I'm very passionate about and very thrilled about the show of support, especially in a state like Illinois.
Is it worthwhile to go to Springfield tomorrow about that, do you think?
Well, I think you're going to vote on it tonight.
It's in session right now.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, and this is a big deal.
We can still get in their faces. What if thousands and thousands of people got right up in their faces and went into their offices and said, "Excuse me"?
You want to? I don't think you're going to make it right now. Tomorrow. It's a good question. Yeah.
I think you're right. Tomorrow. We could go there. Yes, we could. I didn't need to know.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I mean,
people are actually going tomorrow.
So, yeah, those type of efforts, I'm sure help. But it's like where these people are at. I mean, go and talk to the Democrats. I mean, we all know the Republicans are pretty much opposing everything like this, of course. So talk to the Democrat folks, and encourage your friends to do so.
But here's my point: is do we wait for them to come to our houses and our doors and do this, or do we go to the door in Springfield in their offices first? Because I think we should try that first.
I've been going to the door. I've been going to the door.
They literally are just pushing this at us. We have no choice. It has to be a revolution. Peaceful one.
Hold on. Let her finish. Let her finish. I'll put you up there later if you want. It's fine. That's fine.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, it is ridiculous. And I feel like it's hard for, I don't know everybody in the room, right? We have probably some people that are more moderate. We probably have some conservatives. So I know people like to be polite, but I have to tell you, it's a lot easier to be proactive and get your voice heard than to fix it after it's done. And that's the thing that has been a problem for people like us. And I'm going to speak for this community. People, they tell each other what's going on in their friends, maybe, but they don't speak up, and then they wait until the problem exists, and then they try to fix it. So, in this vaccine thing, you've got to speak up, especially for these kids. And I'll talk about the trials. I watched the entire FDA meeting this week and on the kids stuff, and I'll talk about that in a second, too. But, this bill is, huge, so let's see what the vote is. I have to tell you guys, it was pretty cool, though, with the House. I mean, the vote was very close. Some of the Democrats, were moved. So I think there's a possibility for this. So, it wasn't prayers or so the other thing I was going to talk about is the Thomas DeVore case, Silver Lake Law. Some of you guys may be familiar with that. So there was a case filed with over 700 plaintiffs, parents. 711 exactly, yay. I try not to quote exact numbers. If I say it wrong, it'll be in the news that I misinformation or something, right? So stupid. 145 districts, asking for a temporary restraining order against the mass and the healthy quarantines. So this is very exciting. Barrington participated, but even Chicago Public Schools is in it. So 43% of the kids in the state of Illinois in public schools would be covered if this is ruled on as a class action lawsuit. Now, the reality is this could take a long time, it could go to courts, a lot of things could happen, but it is definitely a big deal. It's been covered by a lot of news outlets, and the fundraising on this was astronomically fast. In less than a week, literally 145 school districts raised the money to do this lawsuit. So that's amazing, totally amazing. And Thomas DeVore has been very bad-mouthed by Pritzker. Yeah. And it's very sad. This man has done a lot of charity pro bono cases, and maybe you all know that, but so don't listen to any of that. And it's just a low blow, I think, because I think people are getting scared. I think Pritzker's a little worried about this personally. That's what I think. So don't listen to that, and I'm praying it goes well, but if anything, it shows that the people of this state are not going to stand for this anymore, and we need to make some changes. And even if it pushes him to release the mandate before Christmas, great, whatever it takes. So that's exciting. November 5th is supposed to be the court date in the Coon Courthouse, but it might get moved, so just don't be disappointed. Legal stuff always goes like this, where they're changing judges and stuff happens, but let's see how it goes. Okay.
Is he down southern Illinois?
Yeah.
Where is he at?
Yeah, so DeVore's office is kind of mid-state, and this courthouse is south of Springfield. I want to say 30 to 45-minute drive. So it's a little far to drive, but there is a rally, peaceful rally, to be planned for the day of it. It was supposed to be November 5th. Let's see. But if any of you guys, I know we don't love Facebook, okay, but it's really good for communication sometimes. So, we deal with it, right? Or Meta, it's called now. They just announced, yeah. So I think if you're on any of those groups, you're going to find out about this rally, and you'll be able to go. So it will be planned, and this Phil Nagel, I think is his name, is kind of coordinating with a few people. So that will be really exciting. I think some of the kids are going to go, and I know even some of the folks here are planning to drive down for that rally. So that'll be pretty cool. Any questions on that DeVore case that I can answer for anybody? Before I talk about something else? No? Okay. All right, so on the vaccines, so I watched the entire FDA meeting. And it scares me, okay? So the data, we have data since June of 2021, okay? It is only October. Normally, on safety data for pediatric trials, we have more than 5 years of data, okay? Wow. So let that sink in. We have 4 months of data, safety data. On the control arm was, there's 2 arms of the study, and an arm just means a group. There's 2 groups, I think it was 1,500-ish kids in each, and that's it. Normally there's hundreds of thousands of kids, they monitor them for 5 or more years. Let that sink in, okay? So if you're gonna put this in a child, and I'm not a doctor, but this is just stats, okay guys? Put that in a child, what are you gonna see 6 months from now? What are you gonna see 2 years from now? We don't know, okay? And a multitude of things. We also, now I know the counter arguments, because I've heard them all from everybody. I've heard them from the school board members. What about long-term COVID? I'm like, we actually know a lot more about COVID than we know about these vaccines, okay guys? So, I mean, truthfully, we have some data. We have a year more of data on COVID than we have of this. And a lot of these kids have natural immunity. CDC says that, over 40% of the population has had COVID, and a lot of them don't even know that. So and these vaccines have not been tested in people that have already had COVID. They intentionally only picked healthy subjects. Okay, so you don't know how, and I'm not trying to shame anybody that's got the vaccine, because I know we're mixed on that, and I get that. But the point is, we want a choice, and we want a choice for these kids because 99.9% of the time plus, they are going to be fine from COVID, and that's what the data shows us. So you want to take a gamble on a child, a healthy child with this? Or a fetus? I'm sorry guys, I couldn't do it, and I mean I'm not a doctor, but it's just statistics and data. You don't even need to be a doctor. You look at it, I mean it's not hard. So, yeah. And I mean, this is my passion. I lay awake at night thinking about this, and I've talked to the school board about it 4 times. I wrote them a couple emails with papers, and I have seen a mixed response from conservatives on this and moderates, and I think it's because it's really hard to understand how all this healthcare development stuff works, and I get that, and if you're hearing a false narrative from the media, and they don't know it either, it's really complicated, right?
They're
and
not safety and health experts.
They're not.
Public health.
Right.
Celebrities, corrupt politicians, they have made a mockery out of our professions.
Yeah. I mean,
the real people with the expertise, they made a mockery out of us.
Right, and so I guess what I would say is, even if you got vaccinated, no shame, especially, I mean, we all know the data. The older, and I mean, I'm not going to say anything, I mean, the older and, more comorbidities you have, the more risk of COVID you have. I mean, you got to do that risk benefit with your doctor and whatever. But these little kids, there is absolutely no case for a risk benefit here. There's not, period. End of discussion. So that's something I'm going to stick to, and I'd love for everybody to start speaking out on that. Otherwise we're going to have people leaving this state left and right for these kids. So that's something that I'm very passionate about. Happy to answer any questions you guys might have about the vaccine stuff. What I know, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but again, I was in the industry, I understand how it works.
Parents, grandmothers.
No, I know that, but the hard thing is a lot of parents just watch the news and they don't know, and they're like, oh, vaccines, yay, my kid's safer. Done. It's really simple. All these objectives, measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, have decades of safety data. Decades. And I'm not saying they're all safe either. I'm not making that claim. But I think when you look at, hey, is my kid going to get mumps or this vaccine, it's a lot easier decision for a parent. But I think a lot of people just don't understand. And I think they're getting a false story. So if you guys have any questions, let me know.
What's like the biggest argument? Because everyone I talk to is like-minded to me, so I don't even see like what the opposition is. So what do I need to spit out and know at like the back of my hand?
Yeah, I mean the opposition is really just they're getting told that they're approved and safe. Okay, the first two problems are they're not approved. Okay, so
it's really hard to hear because
they're hard to hear.
there's a lot of side
Okay.
conversations, and I'm super
Okay.
interested in your presentation.
Okay, I'll talk really loud. So the first false narrative is that they are, okay, the only thing that is approved is for adults, Comirnaty, whatever.
In the UK.
Yeah. And it is not available in the United States. The brand name, you can call anybody you want, and you will not find that brand in the United States. You will find the Pfizer not approved emergency use one available only. You can look it up yourself. You can call around and try to find it. You will not find it, okay? So in the United States, you have emergency use products only available right now, okay? So that's the first false narrative. And for children, especially, and teens, they are not going to approve this. It is emergency use authorized, and when they say EUA, emergency use authorized, that process is historically reserved for products like developed for cancer. So if you're dying of cancer, you're going to do everything you can to stay alive. It makes a lot of sense. You're going to take a safety risk, right? It makes sense. You're going to try to save a life or improve a life for an emergency use product. But for vaccines like this, I mean, it's really dicey. And if you listen to the comments from the FDA meeting, which I don't expect people to listen to the whole thing, but if you listen at the end, you hear a ton of caution from those advisors. And I just encourage you to listen yourself. Don't listen to the news. Go listen to take the extra half hour, listen to the comments. And I don't remember all the advisors' names, but there's a few of them that are very scared, and they say basically like, I have to authorize this to be available for only these specific populations. But if I don't vote yes to authorize it, it will not be available for anybody, okay? So that's how that conversation and that vote went down. It wasn't like they were all like, yay, let's do this. No, it was not like that at all, and the media completely misportrayed the situation, by and large. There's a couple news channels that picked up the kind of cautious comments, but by and large, it was really, really inappropriate the way this was portrayed, okay? And some of them said it was approved, and it's not, it's authorized for emergency use. Are we in an emergency?
No.
I don't know, guys. I don't think we're in an emergency.
2% mortality rate.
I know. I'm giving you talking points because that's a really good question. And again, the kids, when people talk about this being an emergency, you look at the data between the age groups and the comorbidities, and you get down to the 18 and under, and these kids have a greater chance of dying in a car accident tomorrow. They have a greater chance of dying in a pool. I mean, it's ridiculous. Risk parents take every day, but then somehow in this situation, people have run with this narrative that it's so risky for them. And yeah, sure, there's definitely situations that are very sad where things happen, but it's by and large, if you really feel like, this is again the narrative, if somebody feels that their child is at that much of a risk, they probably should not be sending them in a car every day.
Yes.
That is what we're talking about, because it's so much more dangerous. Everybody should get off the roads and they shouldn't be driving their cars. Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to make you and the rest of the crowd aware that the children'shealthdefense.org every day has new stats on vaccine injuries and deaths. It's a great source. It's very credible, and it comes out every day. Sign up. Yeah, Bobby Kelly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Excellent.
Agreed.
So great source. children'shealthdefense.org, and they just started a new chapter here in Illinois.
Yay! Yeah, no, they're good because even the safety database for the adverse events is publicly available, but searching it is honestly kind of a pain to do yourself. So if you go to their website, they have nice summaries of the amount. And the adverse events, again, it's kind of scary for these vaccines as a group have been higher than any other vaccine ever developed in less than a year, okay? So think about that, right?
Cash money.
Well, yeah, but you know what's interesting about this situation is that you notice because they're not approved, there have been no advertisements by the companies. It's all the government.
Right.
And the health department. So notice that's interesting, right? So
But they're deleting VAERS data too. I've seen the VAERS data.
maybe, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, I haven't been tracking it that closely, so I don't know.
CDC admits that it's only covering 1% of the adverse actions. Because when you're doing a controlled study, you have medical professionals examining people. This is random. This is someone leaves and says, I feel crummy, and will I fill out the paperwork? No. And if you die, okay, then maybe it's registered. And all those are not even being registered. A whistleblower said that it's 5 times as much.
Yeah, so that's totally accurate. So it's called the VAERS database is publicly available, and it can be practitioner and self-reported adverse event data. So you're going to hear people say, if you quote it, as another objection handler, that it's maybe not accurate, but you can say yes, but even if it was inaccurate on half of the time, and then we account for all of the people who aren't reporting their adverse events or it's not getting logged, it's still too many adverse events. It's still, the safety risk is still too high, in my opinion, for a child. It's ridiculous. So, and it's not false information. It's just as false as them saying that I died with COVID. It's like, that's the other thing that's the other false narrative. I don't know if everybody knows that, but in the United States, not in the whole world, the stats are almost all, they died or were hospitalized with COVID, right? So if you have 20 other comorbidities and you have a COVID positive test when you die, you are in the data set as dying with COVID and you are logged as a COVID case.
The hospital gets money for it.
Well, yeah, I've been told that. I haven't physically verified that. I'm the type of person, guys, that I pretty much verify everything myself that I'm told because I don't want to ever be accused of misinformation. But I have heard that many times. So, yeah. Okay, I'll let you go. Yeah, you guys can read that.
I'm sorry. We have other speakers, but I'm so happy that Marcia came up with so much information. And like I said before, we're going to have some questions and answers afterwards. So, stick around, Marcia. I'm sure people have a lot more to ask about this. I'm going to change it up a little bit. Chrissy's going to say a lot of things touching on that in school boards and stuff, but I'd like to change it up a little bit. My good friend Joshua Alvarado. You'll see him in the corner of Walton Meacham every single Sunday from 12 to 3 doing rallies. Sometimes 50 people, sometimes 500 people. But for what, a year and a half now? A year and a half. He's there every single Sunday.
Thank you, Josh.
Don't just drive by if you're in the area and honk your horn. That's nice. But stop, join, tell people about it. We need to be more visible. And just a little bit about Joshua. He's a retired Army vet, and he served multiple tours in Afghanistan. And he also founded the Illinois Standing Against Tyranny. That's his organization. So. And his t-shirts are back there too. And he continues to serve as well. So, Joshua, the floor is yours.
But I can be super loud, right? So, can everybody hear me? All right, so I'm going to bring up one of my cohorts here, Matt. Come on, up here.
Hey, you want me up?
I got the camera.
As Dave said, Joshua Alvarado, right? So I'm retired from the Army. When I retired from the Army, I got back here and I said, hey, you know what? It sucks back here. This is some bullshit, right? This is unacceptable. And I thought I was gonna come out, I was gonna retire, I was gonna sit down, I was gonna drink daiquiris and relax for the rest of my life, right? But I come back here and this is like I said, this is unacceptable. These communists are just walking all over us, right? And this is great that all of you are here, right? Because I go to a lot of things, and a lot of the time I see the same people. I'm looking out here, I don't know half of you, right? And it's super awesome that a lot of new people are out here, right? Because realistically, us out here, we're the tip of the spear, right? The tip of the spear. We're the ones out here, we're gonna get busy on things, right? So, as Dave mentioned, right? So I've been very active in holding a lot of rallies and protests, right? Getting out and showing these people that we don't accept what they're giving us anymore, right? I'm not willing to let. You've seen, I don't remember how many, 67 people voted for 1169, right? Was it 1169?
Yeah.
1169. It's voted for it, right? They voted for that nonsense. This is unacceptable that they voted for it, right? We need to, and we're going to be organizing rallies at their offices, at their homes, right? We need to bring these people into submission, right? We cannot let them just do whatever they want anymore, right? We are not the minority, right?
They are definitely treading.
They say that we have a small voice and that we're nothing, but they're lying to us. They're bold-faced lying to us, and we all know it. Every single one of us here knows it. As I said, I'm the founder of Illinois Standing Against Tyranny, right? If you don't follow us, please follow us because we need you, right? We need every single one of you. And if you're not willing to come out, you're at least willing to share the information with somebody else that is willing to come out.
That's right.
And that's what we need, right? Information. The left has been so great. The left has been so great at sharing their information, getting people on board with what they need. And we, sadly, aren't very good at that. And that's one of the things that Matt here is going to talk to about in a second, that we're branching out into some more things. So, like I said, if you don't follow us, we're on Facebook, Telegram, Instagram. Wait, let me back up because now I just looked out in the crowd, right? So, Illinois Standing Against Tyranny, founding members, right? Myself, Megan, Julie, Matt, and there's somebody else that is anonymous at this point, but he's also here. All right? So, I just wanted to say that right now. Right? But please follow us online, right? And like I said, if you can't come out, you can at least share it to people that will, right? Because you never know who your friends are that are going to come out and stand out there with us and shame these people and be angry, right? It sucks. We have to be angry right now, and we're going to be angry until the next set of elections, right? Until we get the people that we want in office, right? And that's what we're going to do. Because these people are crazy. It's unacceptable. And we're going to change it. Right? All right. So, I'll hand it over to Matt here.
I'm more comfortable this way. I would say the vast majority of people in here don't know who I am. I'm a shy type of guy. I don't like public speaking.
Doing great.
No, I'm lying through my teeth. I can stand up here for 9 hours and be very happy. But anyways, I'm just going to touch on, first of all, who I am, and then I'm going to touch on what Josh wanted me to talk about. He told me to keep it within 2 minutes. It's impossible. I'm sorry, I can't do it. But I'll try to keep it short anyway. So first of all, is me. My name's Matt Skeetsa. And it's kind of ironic that I'm here today for you, Dave, and for Josh. But this is a walkaway organization, correct? Most people, and I think Josh knows, and a few people know, that I spent the vast majority of my life as a Democrat. I grew up in Ohio, in Youngstown, Ohio, and I lived, breathed everything that you resent right now. When I look out on the crowd, is there any conservatives out here?
Couple.
Wait a minute, there's not even half the hands are up. Come on, all right, guys, bring them up. So, I spent the first 43 years of my life hating every one of you. And I had the tools behind it. I knew everything about communism. I knew everything about what your issues were. I knew exactly how to get under your skin. I knew how to defeat you in every way possible. So the people out there right now that you're worried about, you think I know a lot? No, they know much more. But I know them too. So when I established my career and what I was doing, I don't want to get into all of that, but I think, how do I want to put this? I spent a lot of my years with history. I grew up learning everything. I became a social studies teacher in high school, and I very quickly started getting an understanding that everything that I was teaching was bullshit. I don't mean it in the sense that some of the facts weren't wrong, but I knew that they were trying to dumb down the kids. And so it led me down different avenues. And so when I decided, and this was back in 2009, I said, I need to know more about these people. And so I decided, I said, I'm going to go to a Tea Party meeting. And so I went into a Tea Party meeting in Arlington Heights, and by chance, there was an individual there called Trevor. Am I at 2 minutes yet? I got like another minute left. There was a gentleman there called Trevor Loudon, and I don't know if you know who he is. He wrote a book about Barack Obama, and there's a certain link, there's a theme to the book. And if you ever have a chance, look it up online. If you ever think that Obama is nothing but a communist, you're right. And so you can look at that for yourself. So I listened to this, and a lot of the stuff made sense actually. And I was like, oh, well, this guy's kind of knowing what he's talking about. So I understand the research and stuff. I got his autograph on the book and everything. And lo and behold, right towards the end, the thing, everybody has a red pill. Well, I don't know how many Democrats are in here at one time, but everybody has this red pill at one time. Yeah, right. So you might have a red pill thing in the back of your mind. This is what happened, what changed everything that I had. So I had this lady, she was 90 plus years old. She stood up and she goes, I just got to tell you guys this. She goes, I was in Nazi Germany when I was a young girl, and literally everything that is happening then is happening now. And she, actually, let me clear this up too. Fascism, communism, socialism, they're all the same damn thing. I don't care what you call it. They all came from the same coin. They all came from the same money, from the Rothschild family. So just call it what it is. All right, so no, let me go on. So she's telling the story by story of what was happening. And I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds familiar. And it's even worse now, because a lot of this stuff that's happening right now is what she said. I don't know if she's still alive. I doubt it. That was, 2009, so, unless she's about 110. I hope so. That'd be nice. But just keep that in mind. So everything at that point, it convinced me that, oh my God, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a communist. And the strange thing is, my whole life I was growing up fighting communism because I come from a Polish family. My grandparents used to go back to Poland every year, and they would, am I still at 2 minutes yet?
20 seconds.
So my grandparents would go back to Poland, and they would bring boxes of cash and aspirin and healthcare goods and food, canned goods and everything. And they would give it to our family so that they can spend the next year or 2 years until they came back again. The byproduct of that was, through the 70s, as a child, I remember the FBI coming to visit our house.
Oh, nice.
because I was on the communist watch list. Yeah, even though we're fighting it, it didn't matter. We were still on the watch list. Yeah, so a badge of honor in a sense. So literally, and I'll kind of fast forward here because I know I don't want to take up all your time, there's other speakers, but this whole event slingshot me to this step, where I'm now working with Josh, and I've been a staunch conservative, again a slingshot staunch conservative since 2009.
Crazy.
And if you know any Democrats, moderate Democrats out there, I would be happy to talk with them. I would be happy to educate them. That's what I do now. You know, I have no problem facing off with anything from Democratic progressive doctrine to COVID doctrine or anything you want to talk about. I'll talk about anything. I love debating. I'll talk your ear off. Kind of. So, anyways, but let me go on to the most important part. Josh and I, when we got together, the rally part, the active part is awesome, but there's another way to reach people. And we felt that the best way to reach people and get the message out in a larger stance, because there is no mainstream media out there that's going to say anything in support of you.
That's right.
So we opened the studio. Studio opened about 3 days ago, and we'll be putting out some shows that are talking about current events. We'll be streaming it on Telegram through the Illinois Standing Against Tyranny site, and it'll be going on to YouTube as well. Got some technical difficulties we still got to work out, but we're still working at it. But we need to get it started. I have a podcast myself. It's called The Parable Report.
What's it called?
And The Parable Report. Yeah, it's only on Rumble right now, and I stopped it back in August. And the reason I stopped it is because this was more important at this time. But just tonight I finished my 5th Parable Report, so I'm going to have that up on Rumble. I have a Rumble channel too, so you can get it there. It's going up tonight. It'll be on the channel, Illinois Standing Against Tyranny. And we have other people that are doing podcasts as well. But check out the shows. We're going to do more. And we have done, you can check out Illinois Standing Against Tyranny on the YouTube. There's a YouTube page. And we just came back from downtown during the police efforts that they had. So there's some interviews on there. There's a few other things. Check that out. Look on YouTube. And the one thing I'm going to stress this, each of you have a voice. You have something that you have to say, and you have nowhere to say it. So, we're giving you a chance to say it. Find out where the studio is, talk to Josh, give him your number. Make sure he knows you are. Make sure you have something that you want to say, and say it. We'll bring you in, we'll put you in front of a camera. If you're not happy to be in front of a camera, I like cameras too, then we'll put you in front of a microphone. That's fine. But we want you to say what you got to say. And I think, yeah, it's 2 minutes now, so.
All right.
I'm super for promoting my own events, right? So on Sunday, Golf and Meacham. Sunday, Golf and Meacham from 12 till 3 every single Sunday. We've been out there for over a year. Please come out. Please come out. And on this Saturday, we're going to be at Foster and Harlem for a Back the Blue for the Fraternal Order Police. They're going to be out there. They've been asking for support. Let's go out there and show them that we support them.
Oh, that was great.
Here's my space.
So we talked about, we heard about podcasts, we heard about getting the word out. There's some people that are just not computer friendly. They don't care to see things on the computer, but they will read newspapers. For a long time I said we don't have media, we don't have social media, we don't have newspapers, but guess what? Richard does. And he started the McHenry County Response, and he is looking for support. He wants to expand what he's doing. He's also looking for advertisers. We need to get the word out in many different ways. We need to do it with rallies. We need to talk to people. We need to do podcasts. We need a lot of different things, a lot of organizations, and we need to also have a way where people can sit down the old-fashioned way, read something in a newspaper to see what is going on, not the left-leaning slanted, left-leaning newspapers, somebody that's conservative-minded. And there might be some people out here, there's Epic Times, but not everybody reads the Epic Times. Not everybody does, but we have many different newspapers and magazines that are left-leaning. Well, we can have just as many that speak of conservative values. And Richard Rostron is here to tell you a little bit about what he does. Thank you for coming.
Bring that down right there. First thing I'm going to say something, and I brought this along just in case. I love journalism. Wow. Survived there. I do. I love journalism. You cannot have a free society without journalism. We were talking just a little while ago. Matt, thank you. Matt and I were just talking, and I think it was with you, that when the government knows that there's a watchdog, the people in government are a little careful about what they do. But when they know that the watchdog isn't watching, when they know the watchdog is their lapdog and an attack dog for the other side, there's no restraint, and they'll do anything. And that's what's happening in this country right now. And it started with our schools. It started with our schools where they started teaching. You go to a school board and tell them they're teaching critical race theory, and they'll probably say, oh, no, we're not. Well, I'll tell you what, there's proof. They may not use the word critical race theory, but there's proof, because I talked to young kids just out of high school or still in high school, and they got this stuff somewhere. And they got it thick, and they got it hard. Anyhow, I'm a precinct committeeman in McHenry County. I was told that I didn't have to do any walking, door-to-door stuff, if I was a PC. And I was silly enough to believe it. So turns out that you do have to do a little walking. But my thought is that we all need to leverage our skills and our talents. And we all need to look inside of ourselves. What are you good at, and how can you use that to benefit a fight for liberty? Because that's what I think this is all about. We are fighting to preserve liberty. And I'm doing this not just because I want to preserve liberty, but because I've lived in this country, and I've been very fortunate to have liberty. And I have a responsibility, now that liberty's under threat, to stand up and do what I can to protect it. And I will not look back later and say, well, what if I had tried? I was a freelance reporter with the Chicago Tribune for 5 years. I was a sports editor for 5 years, Woodstock Independent, small paper. I was the advisor to the student paper at the college for 3 years, taught some journalism there. I take pride that I don't think any of my students could have told you where I stood politically. If you'd have asked them, they'd have guessed I was a liberal, because that's what they were. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say liberal. They would have guessed I was a leftist, because that's what they're used to. So the name of this paper is McHenry County Response. And I don't want to just talk to you about trying to get advertisers, and I do, would be happy to get advertisers. I am looking real hard to bring more voices into the paper. I did a lot of writing, and I don't mind doing the writing, but it should not be my voice. It should be the voice of a lot of people. So if you don't mind, I don't know if I brought enough cards, but I'm going to hand some cards to you. Pass those around. If you're taking pictures at the event that's going on, that event, if you want to get a card, send me a picture. We'll see if we can't use that. We just recently got our online version going. This is our second paper that we put out. All right. The first paper we put out was in October before the election. It's actually printed by the Daily Herald, which I believe prints the Epic Times as well. I believe so. I think there might be like a placental barrier between the newsroom at the Daily Herald and the people that print. So I think they may, I'm not going to swear by it, but I think they may have a slightly different attitude. In any case, the first paper we put out, I had been told they had asked another journalist in McHenry County what would it cost to start a paper. He said, well, you have to have $1 million to start. A lot of volunteer work here, but it cost us, for the first paper, it cost us like $2,500. We made $3,500 in advertising, and we had 50,000 copies. 50,000 copies that we distributed around the county. This one, we printed 30,000 copies. It cost us under $1,500 delivered. So the price is pretty good. Now, I've been doing a lot of volunteer work, and I told them recently in the executive committee, I can't sit down and put this together for free, so I'm going to start charging them something just to do that. I do a hell of a lot more work beyond that, but you know, for the time that I'm taking out from my other work, I've got to do something. But I came to my idea that this is something that could translate to other counties pretty easily. If you know, response is because we're responding to the fact that the media in McHenry County does not give us the fair story. This is our response to the other papers.
Is it only available in McHenry County?
Pardon me?
Only available in McHenry County?
That's only where we're distributing it right now, and I'll get to this in a minute, a little further, but what could be happening is like Kane County could take this. This is published by the McHenry County Republican Party. Some people say, some lefties have gone after me on Facebook, oh, that's biased. Hey, we tell you right up who we are.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's the media. The media just got scolded by Nancy Pelosi for not getting behind a $3.5 trillion bill. And what did she do? What did they do? CNN got behind the bill right away.
She's
So
funded by the media. Kamala, Schumer, they're all
Any
funded
journalist
by
would be embarrassed.
Any true journalist
Any true
would be embarrassed.
journalist.
What they have is, what happened to journalism is that they used to strive to be unbiased. Give you the information, let you decide. About the time that as a return student I was at Northern Illinois University, they started talking that it's impossible to be unbiased. There's some truth to that. You bring all your personal experiences to what you do as a journalist. The solution they had was to abandon the effort to be unbiased. And what we ended up with is what you get. I mean, I had a professor actually say that what you need to do is find a good cause and get behind it. Well, who says it's a good cause? Who gets to decide what is a good cause and a bad cause? You know, it's just like critical race theory. They decided this is a great thing. I've looked into it, and I've thought about it. You know what? America had slaves. We fought our worst war. If that war was fought today with the same rate of death, 6.2 million Americans would die. 1 out of every 50 Americans alive at the time died. That is a country that has a conscience. So don't tell me this is a bad country. We're a country that has struggled with its bad sides, with its lesser things, but we fought those things because we care. And if we didn't care, we wouldn't be talking about critical race theory at all. We'd still have slaves, and nothing would have changed.
Yep.
We're here because we're not what they say they are, and critical race theory couldn't possibly be true. So what I'm saying is that you could take this for another county, change McHenry to Kane County, for instance. Most of the stories would be are national or statewide. You could use almost the same paper, just change out a few advertisers, change out a few local stories, and you got your paper ready to go.
Yeah.
And so this is something you can do. And in the meantime, you're responding. The Northwest Herald is Shaw Media, and I believe they still have the Kane County Chronicle. That's still in publication. It's pretty much the same thing. You know, they're probably, some people would say they're not as bad as some. I would say they're not as good as they ought to be.
Right.
So, in the meantime, I'm reaching out like, here, I wrote this down. I was watching Fox News the other day, and there was a black man named Kendall Qualls was talking about critical race theory, and he was talking about the situation for blacks in this country, and he mentioned that in 1964, 80% of black families were two-parent families, and today, 20%. Yeah, I mean that's mind-blowing. And you want to talk about why they're failing. And it's funny, the Democrats are the one that created this problem then. Sure. They created the problem with the Clinton and Biden crime bill in the 90s, and now they're blaming us for it and going to pile on with more of the same crap they did in the first place. So, you know, somebody needs to point this out. Somebody needs to be responding to this. You know, somebody needs to be doing what you're doing. Somebody needs to be doing something. You know, and I think we all have a responsibility to do something. That's why I'm here. Kendall Qualls has given me permission to run his story from, I reached out to him on Facebook, run his story from the Federalist. I'm reaching out to other people. I'm looking for walkaway stories. I'm also looking for stories of people who managed to escape from socialism. Might not hurt if people here that are pushing for socialism have an idea of what they're getting themselves into, rather than the rosy picture some teacher taught them in school. So, any questions, I'd take them, but...
Hey, I'm from McHenry County. What do you think of Tony Collatori? I just want your impression.
I've met him. Seems like a nice guy. Doing this in the primary, I kind of take a standoff kind of position. I don't take sides in the primary. So, personally, once the primary is over, we're going to be all over supporting whoever is chosen in the primary.
I kind of want to know, because I have to go to a campaign funding fundraiser on Saturday night at Woodstock Harley for party for Tony.
Tony's got a great restaurant in Algonquin. If you ever get a chance to go there.
Which restaurant is it?
Pacino Bellas. I've eaten there several times. It's awesome.
Tony Bellatini's?
No, that's Tony's. That's Tony's.
Collatori's?
Yeah.
I know
The other candidate seems like a great guy to me too. I really don't know what to tell you about that.
I think Derek Bailey, because he's like standing up for elections and doing something. Everybody has to say a word.
Well, you know what? I'm open to people writing letters to the editor about that. I think my job in the paper is to be quiet about that until after the primary, but that's all right. Is there any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you for coming out, Richard.
There's a bunch of papers over here if you want to grab one.
Okay, Chrissy. Chrissy Brett. Boy, let me say a few things about her.
We need her penalty box.
We live just a few minutes away. She is so active. We have 5 kids. Very active. She founded Freedom, Illinois, Geneva Parents Union, Restore, T304, GOP Rising, and you're running for state rep in 2 years. She's very busy. We had a flyer that was made. I had a problem printing it. I'm sorry, I was going to have a couple of them out. She also designs flyers. She promotes a lot of events. She's very active, and you've been doing this for how long? 1 year?
Actively, probably honestly about 6 months.
About 6 months.
But like, I've been involved with it.
This is the reason why, you know, I'm so grateful to be working with Chrissy and people that didn't have anything to do with politics a year ago. Now people are getting involved. People are just coming in. I was expecting probably around 30 people here today, maybe. Then boom, just double. Just people just came in. Thank you for coming in and listening. Now, Chrissy, you have the floor. Thank you.
All right, so first thing we're going to do for the platform, our microphone doesn't work. Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon! As I'm talking to you, I'm also watching legislation on the Senate floor, so that will be happening. I have Shannon from Wake, Illinois, like she's trying to text me everything that's going on. I'm kind of a loser in that way. So I have 5 kids. I live in Geneva. I grew up in Illinois. For 4 years, my husband and I and our kids went to central Wisconsin. We left this conservative St. Charles, Geneva area. Came back 4 years later to, within a week, we realized it was a liberal hell. And it was shocking because we bought a home in Geneva, the small town, expecting like, this is a good school, we have 5 kids, we can't afford private school. We were looking at homes in West Chicago, but we didn't like their public schools. So, and God, I was never gonna homeschool, that was not an option. I'm homeschooling now. So there's that. I do have one who prayerfully decided to go to public school, and I fully support that because she's a wise young lady, and she is one of the students that is really helping us. There's a lot of students that you guys don't know about that are helping us expose what's going on in the schools. We protect them because it's necessary, because they are minors. So anyways, I wanted to talk about, first off, the big thing I spend the most time on besides my family and God is Freedom Illinois. It's a platform on Instagram. I started it with encouragement from a friend, Jackie, over here. That's bothering her so much. You might know her through media. I was bothering her with all the Illinois stuff going on, so she encouraged me to start. I started 4 months ago. I'm just under 10,000 followers. That's on one platform. And it's less about me, more about how hungry Illinoisans really are. Yes. This tells you people want to know. So my platform is primarily about educating people what's going on in Illinois and calling them to get involved, inviting them to get involved, and bringing all the different groups together. So once a week on Sundays, I get all the events, ones that I ask people to send them to me, or I search them out, and I say, okay, here's what's going on this week. Everything from rallies to meetups like this to GOP meetings. That's why I'm here. Yay! So I put all these things out, and I basically say, this is your invite. This is us wanting you to show up. I know it's uncomfortable at first, guys. We've got to show up. You are welcome to, I mean, yes, there's some private ones you can buy a ticket. I get all that. But you are welcome to all of them. The conservative patriot movement is a very welcoming community. Anything that's out there, just show up. Josh has his rallies. You are welcome to them. You don't need another invite. Show up. A school board meeting. Please, God, show up to any school board meeting. You can go try. Last year at this time, school board meetings, on average, were only had about, I think they said like 90 something, I think it was like 93% went unattended. That's disgusting. We should all be ashamed of ourselves. Yeah. And I'm one of them. Like, I now go to every school board meeting. I find something to talk about. They don't like me very much. I actually sit in a plexi box.
Chrissy, it's the biggest business in town.
It is the biggest business in town.
It's the biggest business
Absolutely
in town.
It is.
Nobody, everybody ignores it.
It's very concerning. And so even if you don't have children, your tax dollars give you a right to be there. Even if you aren't a resident of that town, you have a right to be there. They're open meetings. Show up. So that's the first thing I want you guys to really do, show up to the school board meetings. Support your district. I go to lots of them. Sometimes I don't even announce that I'm there. I just show up to see what's going on at the other school board meetings. Show up. Be a part of them. You don't just talk. Show up. Numbers mean something. Yeah. They notice it. So speaking of school board, I started the Geneva Parents Union just to kind of get other parents involved. And in my area, it's really difficult. People move to Geneva primarily because they don't want to be involved. It's kind of what I think. It's a small town. People just want other people to take care of their kids, take care of their things, and they don't want to be involved. It's been really difficult. But I'm starting to pull people out. And so I started a new thing called Restore D304. It is a parent task force team. And I'm using the word task force because we're literally starting committees. So everything from CRT. I want this committee to be an expert experts on CRT. I want you to learn every single name, what they're about, how they're using it in math. By the way, they're using it in math in your schools. So they can hide it that way. And sex ed is also in math, by the way. So to learn all that. Financial, we're doing a full financial audit. I want this task force team to know everything about it. I want this task force team to know everything about the bylaws of the school board. So when they slip, we got them. And so I'm encouraging you, if you're in your community and there's nothing like that, just start one. People will come to you. It might start off slow. People will come to you. Contact me, freedom_Illinois on Instagram, or just Freedom Illinois, because probably the person won't be there for long. Contact me, contact Dave, he'll meet you in contact with me. I will blast it and people will start responding to you. It's super, super important. If you have students, if you can encourage them to show up to school board meetings and speak, it's incredibly powerful. Honor them, respect them if they don't want to, but if you can, get them. GOP Rising is a new group that Dave and Josh and I are a part of, and it's focused really right now on Geneva, St. Charles, and Batavia. Sorry, I'm still listening to
What are they? Multitasking.
Still waiting. Mom, I can do this. So I would love to see this kind of be implemented as well in other communities. We're truly just looking at our very, very, very local community, and we started a podcast, 15 minutes once a week, because there are people that are not on social media, that are not watching the news, thank God, but still they have no idea. They have no idea what's going on. They don't show up to the school board meetings, and so 15 minutes we feel like everybody can kind of do, right? Like it's 15 minutes. They can do. Most people, they're not going to listen to a half hour. They're not going to listen to an hour, but 15 minutes. Most people would be like, oh, okay, it's about my town. Like I can figure out what's going on, and we're just putting it out there. We found a free platform. Wow. We're putting it out there, and we're just here's what's going on in your town. And we're just drawing people in. Smart. Oh, also, here's a school board meeting at this time. Oh, did you know this happened? Did you know that your school board spent this amount of money on this? More like putting out those questions. And so really, if you want more information about how you kind of start that, again, let me know. And then other big thing is in Geneva area, first Monday of the month, we are doing a rally on the Geneva State Street Bridge. Last on October, whatever day it was, 6th, I don't know, first Monday of the month, we had our first one and we had 160 people plus show up. So if you're in the area, Monday, the first Monday of the month from 4 to 6 p.m. on the Geneva, there's only one bridge through Geneva. There's great parking. We even have a bathroom right there. Come see us, come join us. Overall, my goal is to educate voters, because I truly feel that we're in this position right now because people are not really educated. I really think if people knew a smidge of what was going on and were voting, they would vote differently. And the people that are educated and still want to stay far left, let them. I don't have a problem with that as long as they're educated. I don't agree with it, but I don't have a problem with it. And so we really need to just start educating people. Bring someone, when you come to something like this, invite someone. Take someone to a school board meeting with you. Share an article. It's really about getting people involved and showing up to each other's events, each other's school board meetings. It's incredibly important to support one another. We are not the far left. We don't have an agenda for the week that we're going to blast across the board. That's not what we do. We respect everyone's individuality and we support one another, but we are not going to sit there and say, okay, everyone put this out there right now because that's what we're about right now. No, it's okay to have a voice, but I encourage you, your voice does not go silent just because you support everyone else. And that's why we're all here. Support the other groups. Help everyone else out. If your school board's doing something great, let me know. I will share it, and other school boards or other parent groups will absolutely implement that and do it the same. Let's win together. Hold on, let's see where we're at with this. I got nothing for you, I'm not gonna lie. We're just debating. By the way, we did get over 20,000 witness slips. Just so you know. And I did update all you on that. So if you need to find my page, let me know. Anything else, anyone?
You're only on Instagram, you're not on Telegram?
I am on Telegram as well. I have somebody helping me because I forget about Telegram, putting my stuff out there, but I am on both. I also I do admin Speakeasy Illinois, Speakeasy Political, and a few other pages just to help out. And I do post all the events too, a lot like to Josh's group, I post all the events there. And to Walk Away, I do post all the events there for the week as well. Just again, do you have a question?
Chrissy, I just want to make an observation, and it's something I've thought about. What you're so way ahead of organizing this is that at the grassroots level, if you think about it, we all went to high school in Illinois, or most of us did. They don't teach you anything about the basics of how local government works. Nothing. And the reason is because they've got a cozy little deal here. Right. They are the biggest business in town. I live in Rockport. It's considered a good school district, but I know how it works. I used to be an elected official. Dave and I have talked about this.
It's incredibly important, guys. The local government is really where we need to focus, and that does include like Illinois as a whole. But the change starts, and we really need to fight for our county boards and our school boards. They are being, at this point, scared into doing what the state is telling them to do. Right. When legally, they actually have the right to make their own decisions. And so, as much as I am at bat with my school board, this week I let them know, like, if you would just stand up for our kids, I promise you, I have your back. We have their back. We just need to encourage them that we have it. We don't have the money to give, we don't have the ESSER funds to bribe them with, but, we do have their back. So, yeah, get involved, guys. If you need ways to do it, let me know. I'll totally help you. It's out there.
Okay, before we get to our final speaker, on a walk-away note, those of you out there, do you know who Brandon Strzok is? He's the founder of Walkaway. He's been silent all year. He's going to be, he pleaded to a misdemeanor, which is like a hand slap. They wanted to, they wanted to silence him, and he had to be quiet the whole year. And he allowed the states to kind of do their thing and maintain. They took down our national site. They took down our emailing, our funding, everything else. But middle of December, he's going to be back. And let me tell you, by the emails that he's been giving to people who are part of the administration, he has a lot to say, and it's going to be right in time for the 2022 election. So be looking for that. And I want to thank Pam Carr. Please stand up. She's the moderator for Walkaway, Illinois. She has a book of guidelines that she has to, because we're a 501c3, and there's certain things that she can't allow through, and certain things have to be worded a certain way. But if you do slip her an extra $20, maybe she can. I'm just joking.
If you want to put something on the site, make sure it doesn't link you to another site or to like a payment. I'm really not supposed to let things on that has like a money, like it's going to cost you this much to go to an event. But if there's no link, I just let it slide. But if there's like a link to PayPal, I can't let it.
Things like that people don't know. They're pushing certain events and meetups and things like that, and she has to be very careful of what goes through, because trust me, Facebook, they're looking to red flag us. They want to shut down the state groups or any other organizations.
Yeah, I can't post anything related to COVID.
Right, COVID is another thing. So our final speaker is Larry K-Fish. He's amazing. I just met Larry back in December, and we were talking. We had dinner together, and we were talking about things we can do. And here's some of the things that Larry has done in his short life. He's a retired Colonel Marine who served multiple tours in Afghanistan. He ran for Congress in 2014 against Tammy Duckworth. He's currently helping with Paul Schimpf's campaign for governor. He continues to serve, and I think his top accolade is his state champ wrestler here in Illinois. I'm jealous. Thank you for coming.
Numbers. I only know like connected with a couple names.
I tell you what, it's great to see everyone here tonight. And Dave, great job of putting this together. Patriots, thank you for all you're doing to help organize and unite. Dave asked me if I'd be willing to speak, and I said, of course I would. And I love what Dave's doing. I know his heart's in the right place, and he's a man of principle. So what do you want me to talk about? So why don't you talk about something uplifting? I'm like, give me something hard, Dave. No, it's unique times, right? I love this place because it's a tavern, right? Marine Corps was founded and born in a tavern. So we all simplify. So this is the greatest place. This is as good a place as any to come together, to unify, to talk, to plan, to strategize, and get ready for a fight. Okay? It's a beautiful place. What people don't know also, this is a little bit of trivia, but y'all know the Gadsden flag, that beautiful yellow flag that says, "Don't tread on me" on the bottom. What most people don't realize is that was the flag the Continental Marines carried in the Revolutionary War. It's got some great lineage. Did you know that? Okay, we rock that. Fellow Marine. I heard the word, I think you said it a few times, and I have to echo it because I think it's absolutely right. What's going on today is evil. Yes. It is evil. And I don't think people recognize the magnitude. If you were here, you probably do. 1976. We had the SARS virus, right?
Yep.
President Ford was the president. He wanted to get everybody vaccinated.
Yep.
He vaccinated about 1/4 of the population. And the country was small at that time. About 230 million at the time. When they hit 25 deaths because of the virus and 500 cases of Bell's palsy, they stopped the vaccination.
That's right.
It was too dangerous, it was too evil, we didn't know what was going on, and they got rid of it. And I know you've all talked about it, and you're a smart group, so I'm not going to tell you anything you probably don't know. But right now, on VAERS, it's over 17,000 deaths from the jab. And as I've heard again, that's roughly 1%. Depending on the experts, some will say 5%, 5 times as greater, 10 times greater. It could be as high as 100. But think about that for a second. 17,000 people have died, and we are just seeing the tip of the iceberg. All right? And then I watch the news, and I look at everything like you all, right? Read everything, watch everything, and I'm all saying, "Oh yeah, I get the vaccine. It's good. I got mine." But we shouldn't do a mandate. Any source that recommends or suggests getting the jab without including the number of deaths is evil. Should never be listed and should be shit canned. Okay? Y'all know Peter McCullough? Yeah, so Dr. Peter McCullough. Thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. He put out a couple of great videos, about an hour and a half long each. Very informative. I know you're probably all over it. Obviously, Gert van der Bosch has talked about it. This is absolutely horrendous. He's talked about hundreds of millions of people dying when the second wave comes in, because the immune systems have now been compromised. And if they've been modified by these DNA modifiers, it can be bad, bad news. And when we look back in our history books, the darkest pages of our history books, they're going to look like child's play compared to what they had. And I pray, I hope that hell I'm wrong, but we don't know. We don't know. What's that?
Better have a hazmat suit to carry out the dead bodies, because that's who's going to be left. You realize, people, seriously, I've been a caregiver for over 20 years, and I've seen what this shit goes on. And I can go back to 1970, Dr. Merrick had a live virus here, and when Fauci said there was never no live, I call bullshit, because I have a blindness that an immune deficiency caused from jump from my mother. Well, we're talking, exactly.
Funded the research.
I'm praising you. Keep preaching the truth. Thank you.
No, you're doing it. You're doing it. I I just got a text today from a friend. It's a news article. I looked at it, and it said 77.7% of the deaths in Illinois from COVID.
Fully vaccinated.
Double vaccinated.
But they don't consider them vaccinated until 14 days after they've gotten their second jab. That's the kicker. Imagine what
This is good info.
If anybody you have any common sense in efficacy, when you start a study, you have to start with a clean pool. You gotta understand the CDC went back, way back. They were in control of the nasal swab up your fucking nose.
Yep.
They were in control of analyzing that mother effer, okay? They had everything out pre-pandemic. You can go on, Fauci's on, it's all on there. There's so many videos out there right now that fries his mother
Fauci's a
effer.
bitch.
There's more than, he's not just the only one. But I'm just telling you, people, you need to understand, do not vaccinate. Do not mask. I have been standing up for do not mask since day one of the pandemic.
Would you elaborate on the not masking, please?
The not masking is
Don't comply.
you do not comply. It is a
Absolutely.
mandate, is not a law, people.
Beautiful.
You have the right to freely walk around with your teeth going, people.
Okay. We'll get back to that.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. And that's exactly right. That's exactly right. There has been no truth whatsoever on the virus, on the jab, on the treatments. Everything has been completely compromised. And prior to every communist revolution, we can talk to our friends from Poland and Czechoslovakia and Venezuela and Cuba. The first thing that is stolen and destroyed, the truth. That is the biggest problem we have today. There is no truth. The nation is being lied to. We are all being misled. Well, if you're here, you're smart enough to recognize we're all being sold a bill of lies.
It's communism.
It is. It is. It's absolutely. When you look at what's happening, okay, you've got this guy in the White House. No way he won an election. Right? Couldn't get 12 people in his backyard. Yeah.
Let's go, Brandon.
Right. I love Brandon.
Hold on.
Yes, ma'am.
For a long time, I've been considering, like my father had diabetes. He was about to go to Poland. He was talking about the vaccine. I was like, I'm not sure. People are saying that, yeah, this virus, I had the virus, I was sick today. I was fine. But he really wanted, he had diabetes.
Yeah.
He took his shot on the 18th. On the 30th, he left to Poland. On the 10th, he was dead.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
So sorry. So I'm just saying, people really watch what's going on. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hold on, guys.
I just want to say something really quick. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have the same thing. So the natural immunity, I've been sharing this just all over. I've decided not to be personal, not to worry about it being personal. I had COVID in December of 2019, so almost 2 years ago. And I got so sick of hearing about it, so in August I went and had my antibodies tested because they're like, oh, it only lasts 3 months. And 0.8 is the cutoff. I'm at 212. I sat next to someone with the Delta variant for 2 hours, and they went in the hospital the next day for 12 days. Nothing happened to me. Nothing. So the natural immunity, I'm sure there's millions of people, but we're afraid to talk about it.
92 studies indicate it's better than vaccination.
Right. But the secret is
Absolutely.
I do. Now I do.
I talk about it all the time.
But at first you don't want to put your personal information on social media, and then I'm like, I just gave up on it.
Let's let Larry finish, and then let's get back to that. Hold on.
I have just one
Please, go ahead.
I just have a question to all of you because I know you're smart. Since HIV 42 years ago, we never came out with any result. We don't know what to do. In fucking 6 months, we have answer for COVID. I mean, do you think we're fucking idiots?
Exactly.
HIV, 42 years. Nobody did anything. But 6 months, yes we do. This is what Kamel did in Poland. They control you. They grab you here. You cannot listen to this. You cannot do this. You cannot go anywhere. This is what happened in the United States. Look, this is my country. This is the reason I am so I'm so upset. My heart is bleeding. Why we do let the fucking asshole lead the country? We have no control of it. You know, Biden goes. He spit more than I do, but I speak his accent. I have the excuse. He doesn't. He was born in this country, and he cannot spit out the word. So what bothers me is 42 years HIV, still we don't have answer, but in 6 months we have answer for COVID. Please.
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. Thank you. No, we are at that precipice, okay? We are there. Truth is gone.
Yes.
Then the force starts to happen. Then the coercion. Soon there will be violence. Unless we stand up and we unify. Okay? Unification. Dave wanted to have a positive note, so let me try to hit something. All right, first and foremost, we got a great heritage.
Yes.
We were born, our nation was born through fire and fight against the strongest military in the history of the world at that time. Just a bunch of mercenaries coming together, militia coming together, but they had something beautiful and they had something unique, and we need the same, and I think we have it. First thing they had, which was most critical, God. Well, that's coming there, but they were you're a step ahead of me. They were united. United. Okay? They weren't divided. If you're not united, you're nothing, right? They were united behind what? All that. And that belief, that beautiful belief we all know. We have them. We believe that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, which among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what united us. And that is what's going to keep us going. And then the pillars that made us grow and made us great were Christianity, our Judeo-Christian values, capitalism, our founding fathers and founding documents, and our history.
That's where they go after it.
And that's why they're attacking every one of our pillars and the foundation. So all we got to do is flip the script. Keep us united, build those pillars, and be ready to fight. Okay? It's in our fiber, it's in our being. We will need to be getting organized, but this is why this is so important. Meet at the taverns, meet wherever you can, talk, share ideas, unite, and be ready to fight.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. God bless you. God bless our troops, and God bless me.
Oh, this is awesome. From beginning to end, this is great. Okay, now, people, the speakers are done. If people want to have something to say, or if they have any questions, now's the time. So, you want to come up? I would love to talk. I'm going to leave the mic open.
Shocking.
I do use the mic. You have to talk right into it.
Mine? Freedom underscore. Hi guys, my name's Jackie. A couple of you know me as Bootleg Media on the internet. Instagram, I know that's not everyone's favorite platform. My biggest demographic is the boomers. I'm 26 years old. I started a website. How many of you, can I get a raise of hands, how many of you have an Amazon Prime account? It's okay. No shame, just wondering. Okay, do me a favor and cancel it, because you can still use Amazon. It's $150 a year that you're going to save. And I have a website called freedomshopdirectory.com. 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 I want everyone to get their phones out, type it into your browser right now and look at it. freedomshopdirectory.com. It's not Amazon, not even close. But it is patriot-owned businesses. And is anyone a business owner in here? Or services? Services that you offer. You can go to that website and submit an application, and I'd love to look at it. You can also come say hi to me.
But that website was made because these platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, they all can monetize businesses, and they are taking people down through censorship, and it's crushing these people. And now more than ever, we need to not shop at Amazon, and we need to shop from each other. So I made the website for that reason, and well, I hired my friend to make the website, but now I know how to do it, so I can keep up with it. I get no funds from it like Bezos does. It is just a directory for you to find clothing, beauty, non-toxic products, holistic health, and we did buy an upgrade to localize it, so eventually you'll be able to, however we do it, you'll be able to, type in your zip code and see who's around you that you can physically go and visit in person. But I just wanted to say that. I also, with the conversations that were going on, like with the masks, I am a little 26-year-old girl, and I go to the store without a mask on. Me too. And the amount of men that I see wearing a mask, grown men, it's so discouraging, and I get emotional because it's like we need our men, like you guys. Yes, we really do. So I'm gonna explain how you can fight the mask mandate at the store. Thanks to HIPAA, which I know we don't really think exists anymore, but thanks to HIPAA, you don't have to disclose a medical condition. Amen. You tell the store, I have a medical condition, and if they kick you out, or threaten to kick you out, or whatever it is, you go to the ADA website, and you fill out a form. You still don't have to disclose your medical condition. And they face up to a $75,000 fine for their first violation, okay? You just threaten them with this form. The manager themselves is going to call you and apologize. And then you have just granted freedom to every person that walks into that store maskless, because they're never going to bother another person again about it. I'm trying to think, there's something else I was going to say.
Does that work if you lose your job because you won't wear a mask?
I would suggest joining a class action lawsuit for that.
That's why I'm not working, because I can't mask.
Yeah, that's why I'm not working.
Because you don't wear a mask?
Correct.
Yeah, I don't know the exact details about it. I would say, find a Tom DeVore.
I have a lot of people in there's a lot of companies that are hiring wearers.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. Actually, let me bring that up. I would suggest if you are looking for a job that doesn't require the vaccine, get your notepad out here.
Oh, hold on.
Get out, Wonder Woman.
God damn it.
See if this loads with all the phones in the room.
Website?
Yeah, there's two websites. One is novaxmandate.org. You can upload your resume there now if you're anticipating on getting fired. The other one is Red Balloon. I don't know the exact URL.
That one didn't have anybody around here.
But if you just start adding to it, and it will grow.
I have local Illinois jobs that are available on my Highlander Instagram.
Okay. I don't know, but Red Balloon and novaxmandate.org. Those are the two platforms you can upload resumes to. I think that's all I had, so thanks. FreedomShopDirectory.com.
Awesome. Anybody else? Anybody else have something to say? Anything you want to? Okay.
Well, sometimes if you're living in the Iron Curtain, other than maybe the radio from Radio Free Europe, you might not know what else there was. But I started here, and my parents took me behind in the Soviet sector of Austria in 1953, because we knew things were getting a lot worse, and they were really afraid of going any later. Well, the good news is that Stalin, let's just say he died. And things got a lot better. But before he did, if you think we have shortages now, we didn't have toilet paper. But we did have newspapers like TASS and Pravda, whatever the Austrian version was. And what I remember is my grandfather tearing that in long, narrow columns. That's what it was good for.
In the outhouse, especially.
So hang on to your newspapers. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you for McGonagals for letting us host this. How about a round of applause? Lisa in the back there, she organizes events. Thank you, Lisa, for having us. A round of applause for Lisa as well. Make sure we take care of our servers, our restaurants, our pubs. We want to keep them alive, keep them thriving, because we're not going to let the state take them down or consider them what, non-essential or whatever word they're going to call us. So we're going to try and do another event in Elgin for sometime in middle November. And we're trying to find a place. We're thinking of the public house, but we're trying to pick different areas around this area, around the northern part of Illinois, doing similar things so that we can reach other people, because we all live in the same state. We all have different cities and different organizations, but we all live in the same state. We want to flip this state red and turn things around. So thank you, and God bless you all. Thank you for coming.